Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Balaji Mines Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by Edelweiss Wealth Research. This conference call may contain forward-looking statements about the company, which are based on the beliefs, opinions, and expectations of the company as on date of this call. These statements are not the guarantees of future performance and involve risks and uncertainties that are difficult to predict. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anshul Verdia from Edelweiss Wealth Research. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon. On behalf of Edelweiss Wealth Research, I welcome you all to the Q2 FY22 earnings call of Balaji Mines Limited. We have with us today Mr. Ram Reddy, the promoter and the managing director of Balaji Mines Limited. We request him for his opening remarks, post that we'll open the floor for Q&A. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anshul. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you, and welcome to the conference call to discuss the financial performance of the Q2 FY22 performance of the company Balaji Mines Limited. I hope you have got a chance to go through the press release and financial statements submitted to the stock exchanges and uploaded on our website. First, kindly let me take you through the standalone financial and operational performance. Despite multiple headwinds in form of decline in demand for certain products from pharma sector on account of unavailability of Chinese API KSM due to turbulence in logistics industry and significant spike in key raw material prices, we have been able to deliver a decent quarterly performance. We recorded 55% growth in total revenue, which stood at rupees 439 crore in Q2 FY22 as against rupees 283 crore in the corresponding quarter of previous year. The growth in revenue was on account of higher volumes driven by the commissioning of additional ethylamines capacity of 16,500 MT in last quarter, improved capacity utilization, and overall healthy demand across our product basket. EBITDA was up by 41%, which came in at rupees 102 crore in Q2 FY22 as compared to rupees 70 crore in the same period last year, with EBITDA margin at 23.2% in Q2 FY22 as compared to 25.5% in the same period last year. The margins remained subdued due to significant increase in prices of key raw materials, which are now being passed on to end customers after a lag of 3 to 4 weeks. Profit after tax recorded an increase of 46% at rupees 70 crore in the current quarter under review as against rupees 48 crore in Q2 FY21. Tax margin stood at 15.8% in Q2 FY22 as against to 16.8% in Q2 FY21. Diluted EPS for Q2 FY22 stood at rupees 21.48 per equity share as compared to rupees 14.71 per equity share in Q2 FY21. Total volume stood at 23,604 metric ton for Q2 FY22, up by 2% as against 23.151 MT in Q2 FY21. For Q2 FY22, volumes of basic amines stood at 5,861 MT, amines derivatives volume stood at 8,261 MT, and that of specialty chemicals stood at 9,482 metric ton. Now coming to our standalone performance for H1 FY22, revenue from operations in Q1 FY22 stood at rupees 834 crore, up by 68% as compared to rupees 496 crore in H1 FY21. EBITDA witnessed a growth of 74% from rupees 126 crore in H1 FY21 to rupees 219 crore in H1 FY22. Our EBITDA margin expanded by 94 basis points to 26.3% from 25.3% in H1 FY21. PAT for H1 FY22 witnessed a jump of 84% to rupees 151 crore from rupees 82 crore in H1 FY21. Diluted EPS for H1 FY22 stood at rupees 46.73 per equity share as compared to rupees 25.41 per equity share in H1 FY21. The total volume stood at 45,600 metric tons for H1 FY22 as against 41,456 metric tons in H1 FY21. For H1 FY22, volumes of basic amines stood at 11,250 metric tons. Amines derivative volume stood at 17,848 metric tons, and that of specialty chemicals stood at 16,498 metric tons. Now, coming to your consolidated performance, revenue from operations for Q2 FY22 stood at rupees 529 crores, up by 87% as compared to rupees 283 crore in Q2 FY21. Total volume stood at 28,361 metric tons for Q2 FY22 as against 25,499 metric tons in Q2 FY21. EBITDA for Q2 FY22 recorded a jump of 80% from rupees 74 crore in Q2 FY21 to rupees 134 crore in Q2 FY22. EBITDA margin for Q2 FY22 was at 25.4% as against 26.3% in Q2 FY21. PAT for Q2 FY22 was up by 99% from rupees 44 crore in Q2 FY21 to rupees 88 crore in Q2 FY22. Diluted EPS for Q2 FY22 stood at rupees 24.91 as against rupees 14.12 per equity share in Q2 FY21. Revenue from operations for H1 FY22 stood at rupees 981 crore, up by 93% as compared to rupees 507 crore in H1 FY21. EBITDA for H1 FY22 was up by 116% at rupees 279 crore as compared to rupees 129 crore in H1 FY21. EBITDA margin for H1 FY22 was at 28.4%, up by 300 basis points as compared to 25.4% in H1 FY21. PAT for H1 FY22 witnessed an increase of 145% to rupees 185 crore from rupees 76 crore in H1 FY21. Diluted EPS for H1 FY22 stood at rupees 52.51 as against rupees 24.30 per equity share in H1 FY21. Our subsidiary company, Balaji Specialty Chemicals Private Limited, continued to witness substantial demand as well as robust price realization. We logged sales volume of 4,757 metric ton in Q2 FY22 at our subsidiary plant as against 2,348 metric ton in same quarter last year. We have recorded the capacity utilization of about 67% in Q2 FY22 as against 42% in Q1 FY22. Accessibility for raw material required for manufacturing products subsidiary plant continues to remain a major challenge. If the accessibility of raw material improves, we anticipate to quickly ramp up the production in subsequent quarters with strong underlying demand from end customers. Non-agrochemical clients constituted about 25 to 30% of total sales of ethylene diamine in H1 FY22 from about 10% in earlier quarters. Our endeavor is to increase the share of exports from our subsidiary plant to about 25 to 30% going forward from about 15% in H1 FY22. Here I would also like to point out that the Board of Directors have provided the necessary authorization to identify and appoint various consultants to evaluate valuation and scheme of amalgamation of the subsidiary company with the parent entity. With commencement of operations at our state-of-art new plant of ethylamines, we now have the largest installed capacity of ethylamines in India at 22,500 tons per annum. The new plant of ethylamines at Unit 4 has also led to lower cost of production due to new technology. With the commencement of this plant, Balaji Amines is the largest manufacturer of methylamines, ethylamines and other chemicals in India. The construction of new plant for dimethyl carbonate in phase 1 of Greenfield project Unit 4 is undergoing as envisaged, and we hope to commence production of DMC by the end of FY22. Till 30th September 2021, we have undertaken a total capex of rupees 220 crore in phase 1 of our Greenfield project, and a further rupees 30 crore would be invested. As disclosed in last quarter, we also plan to set up an additional plant of acetonitrile having capacity of 50 TPD by using a different technology with projected capex of about rupees 70 to 80 crore at our 90-acre Greenfield project Unit 4. This plant is expected to commence operations in FY23. Methylamine is a key raw material and the base product for value-added derivatives required by pharmaceutical and agrochemical companies. We are currently the market leader in methylamine production in India, and 80% of our methylamines production is captively used for manufacturing value-added products. Pharmaceutical application segment and agrochemicals are expected to drive significant demand for methylamines in India as well as global markets. As announced earlier, to meet our increasing captive requirements, we plan to set up a separate plant for methylamines with capacity of 40 to 50,000 tons per annum under phase 2 expansion of Greenfield project Unit 4, for which the company has already received environmental clearances. We anticipate the commissioning of this plant by the next coming 2 years. That's all from our side. We now leave the floor open for question and answers.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of S. Satish Kumar from Sri KPR Industries Limited. Please go ahead. Satish Kumar, your line has been unmuted. Please proceed with your question.
No question, please.
Okay, we move to the next question from the line of Rohit Nagraj from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon and thanks for the opportunity. So the first question is in terms of the raw material sourcing. So we have seen the price increases as well as availability as an issue. How are we looking at it from the current quarter and next quarter perspective for methanol, ethanol as well as for ammonia? Thank you.
Thank you, Nagraj. The ethylamine, there is no problem. For the ethanol, we are covered for the next 3-4 months. I think there should not be any problem for the ethanol as it is imported from the USA and even domestic also. Sugar season is expected to do very good. And methanol, yes, there was a problem, but I think last 1 week it has started softening. If this continues, probably in coming 2-3 weeks, the prices should come down to below 40 level. That is 36, 37 rupees. It should come down. and because it took a lot of time, we already started passing on these increases. So there should not be any problem. Coming quarter should be much better.
So from both the perspectives, from the availability as well as pricing perspective, is that fair assumption?
Yeah, availability there is no problem in any this thing. If you pay the price, you are getting only one raw material we are facing problem, that is for our subsidiary specialty. I think we expect that will ease out from the November onwards. Otherwise, price is already increased. There is no problem. Everybody is increasing all over world. We are traveling with the world. So there is no problem. Only thing is availability. So only one raw material. We expect that it should ease out from the November onwards.
Right, sir. Thank you. So the second question is about the aliphatic amines and derivatives which are being used as solvent. So are these solvent substitutable by any other solvents if the price increases, or these solvents have a sticky demand and cannot be substitutable? Thank you.
Yeah, Nagaraj, you see, aliphatic amines not come under solvent. Most of them are used as a intermediate and raw material for many of the products. Yes, there are few solvents which are used by using the aliphatic amines like DMF, DMAC. So they are different, and every solvent has got its different characters. So it cannot replace totally. One cannot replace the other. Like DMF, if you see the last 3-4 years, we have seen every year in India itself there is a 10,000 tons growth every year. 3 years back we have seen 60,000-70,000 tons. This year we have seen more than 95 to 100,000 tons. So every individual solvent has got its different importance and different characteristics.
Sure, sir. That's it from my side. Thank you so much and best of luck.
You're welcome.
Thank you. A reminder to participants, if you have any questions, please enter star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Senthil Kumar from Joindre Capital Services. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Senthil. Go ahead.
Senthil Kumar, you're audible. Please proceed with your question.
Yeah.
Sir, you would like to ask a question. Please proceed with the same. As there is no response, we'll move to the next question from the line of Tanvi Bhandari from Hem Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
So actually, I just got disconnected in between. Could you just repeat about the raw material shortage that you were facing? That was basically on account of methanol and ammonia.
No. Methanol, ammonia, there is no shortage. Only prices have gone up. Now it started softening. Ammonia is still at upper only. Only methanol, I have seen last 1 week, it's softening. I expect at least personally, in next 3-4 weeks it should soften and come down to the levels of 35 to 40 rupees. And the shortage.
So now there's no supply disruption. Yes.
No. Only price was the problem, and which we are in a position to pass on over a period of time. And shortage, only one product which I said that is used by our subsidiary. That is the product name is monoethanol amine, which is manufactured by using the ethylene oxide. I heard that ethylene oxide is in short supply all over world. So that could be the main reason. It is a short supply, and we expect that from November onwards, it should ease out.
Okay. So just one more thing. Do we expect better margins going forward, because now we are able to pass on the prices and also seeing softening in demand? So what is your margin guidance and revenue guidance for the coming year?
Bhandari, we wish and we dream that we should be in a position to get more and more margin. But with the current situation, the volatility, we can only assume and we can only expect. We cannot guarantee what will happen in the coming weeks and the coming quarters because of the volatility in the market. But with the things going presently, it should be better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Participants, if you have any questions, please enter star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Nilesh Ghuge from HDFC Securities. Please proceed with your question.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Ram sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nilesh.
Yeah. So my just question on this DMF. DMF plant capacity is 30,000 metric ton per annum. Is my understanding correct?
Yes.
But sir, our press release is saying that we are expanding.
I'll answer you. See, what happened, because we were not getting the proper prices and we were fighting with the dumping from the other countries. About 3-4 years back, there was some breakdown of one line. So we did not rectify because it was not giving any significant top line or bottom line, and it went down to below 50-55 tons. So that the moment it has started improving, we have gone to that whatever maximum extent, 50-55 tons. Now with the last month, we have because some incident we have taken the shutdown. With that shutdown, we are adding that equipment one by one. With this current equipment, probably from the first week of November, that is maybe 7th or 10th, we are taking the target. We will be restarting that plant with the higher capacity. Instead of 50, it may go to 70 to 75 tons.
Okay. That's what the confusion. We mentioned in our last.
Naturally, even I told in the last con call also, there was a oxygen shortage. People used to ask why oxygen shortage. We were having oxygen plant, but when the price was not good that time, there was a breakdown for the oxygen plant, so we did not rectify that. And when the prices have improved, then we started installing all the new things one by one. Now it looks very lucrative and attractive. That's the reason we are doing. Probably this is 75 tons I am telling you. In coming 1 or 2 months, we will see the 100 tons also in this plant.
Okay.
Adding some equipment. Yes.
Yes, thanks, sir. And sir, my second question is on acetonitrile. So how the prices are and the margins are currently in third quarter of this financial year?
Actually, acetonitrile is not doing well here. I don't know what others are doing. I will tell you. We used to talk about the margins and prices when the price of the main raw material acetic acid was at 35-40 rupees. This acetic acid went up to 120 rupees in the last quarter. Of course, today it has come down to 90 rupees level. There's a reason. It is very thin margin. Sometimes people are working on the losses also for this acetonitrile. Probably we have to wait for the acetic acid to come down to the normal level. If not to the 40-50 rupees, it should come down to somewhere 60-65 rupees. Then we will have the reasonable workable margins.
Okay. And so the prices of acetonitrile are around 250-260?
People are asking at 260, 270, and raw material cost itself is coming to 250 rupees. That is how it is happening presently.
And sir, but in the current scenario, let's say there is not much improvement in the margin, but still we are going ahead with the expansion. Is my understanding correct?
That will give different. There's a different technology.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Convertibility and other things will be more better than the current situation. If not, like you see, we are all seeing earlier we have seen huge margins in the acetonitrile. That's the reason everybody is surprised. Why, what, how, right? So I am expecting. I am not talking about the huge margin. My next plant of acetonitrile, which is I am talking about 50 tons per day, will be normal like other products with the new technology, irrespective of any raw material prices and all those things. All these exercises we have done, Mr. Nilesh. Let's see. Once we start, then you will understand. And even cost of the plant also, we have designed very compact design. So if you happen to visit next year, definitely it will be. We can see the plant how we will do, and that time we will have all the details in hand.
Okay, sure. And sir, when you are saying technology, the new route of acetonitrile manufacturing, so the technologies, I believe it is indigenously developed, or you have taken license from outsider?
We are taking from somebody.
Okay. And the raw material, and what about the raw material? Raw material is domestically available, or you have to source it from
domestic available domestic only.
Okay. Great. Thanks, sir. We will like to meet and see the plant. Okay.
You're welcome, Nilesh. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Ram, sir. Bye.
Thank you. Participants, if you have any questions, please enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Anshul Verdia from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, a couple of questions on EBIT per ton. So if we see in this quarter, the EBIT per ton has declined substantially in the sense of as compared to quarter on quarter, but the subsidiary EBIT per ton is very strong. So just wanted to get an understanding how you see this EBIT per ton going into 3Q. We have already 1 month into this quarter, and what could be the possible drivers for this improvement in EBIT per ton? That's from my side.
See, for the subsidiary, as I said, all the products which are produced in the subsidiary currently in the short supply all over the world, and we are getting the good demand. Only the minus point in that, we are not getting the raw material sufficient required for that. Otherwise, it would have gone more than 80-90% capacity. Today, what we are talking this quarter, only 60-67% was operating. And if you take the average of the 6 months, I think it's somewhere 50-55% only. But going forward, we expect it should go more than 60-70% capacity once the raw material is available. This is one thing. Second thing, in the parent company, the Balaji Amines, there was a problem, I told you, because it is with everybody, not only Balaji, all the companies facing the number one, the volatility in the raw material prices was very fast. That has taking some time. See, if somebody wants to buy a month or 2 months covering of their raw material, they are thinking twice, because if they buy cover for the 2 months, if tomorrow if the raw material goes down, what will happen? This is everybody's thinking today. So this may continue till we get some comfortable stability in the availability and pricing of the raw materials. Anyway, as I said that we already in a position to pass on whatever the short-term volatility prices, ups and downs. We could convince the customers, and we have passed on. And we expect coming month, because this month, entire month, the DMF could not run. Once we get this additional capacity, probably we will cover this loss of DMF in the coming 2 months. And overall, next 3 months, it should be better only, what we have seen, even from the margin point of view and the top line point of view also.
Thank you, sir. That was really very helpful.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sahanubhav Sahu from MC Research. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah. So I had a couple of questions. One is the inflation pressure, it's quite broad-based. It's not just raw material cost. And I'm sure that even our capex budget would also be getting impacted because of, for example, surge in steel prices or cement prices and so on. So wanted to check, is there any rethinking on the timing of capex projects, or do you think that demand is so strong that we should complete projects as soon as possible?
Thank you, Mr. Sahu. You are rightly catched. the capital goods overrun by any industry in the country today facing this problem. But for us, what happened for the DMC, we have already ordered all the equipment. There was only problem because of the lockdown logistics. It could not reach the site in time for the up to DMC. And even for the acetonitrile which we are talking next year, part of the equipment, so already we have placed the orders, and it will not give any impact. Yes, you are right. For the next expansions, when we talk about the after 2 years, like new methylamines, new DMF, those may impact on the overall cost of the total project. That anyway, in the coming years, we will hear what will be the new capex. Yeah.
Right. And so
it's not for the Balaji, it's for everybody. So we may not worry. We are good, going with everybody.
Yeah, I totally understand that, sir. Yes. So, Segment, sir, again, I understand that near-term margin pressure is there, and again, this is true for the whole industry. My question is little long-term and more from a sustainability of margin range. So, for example, like 2 years back, I mean, before COVID, I think for us, the range which we were working on were probably 18 to 20% or 18 to 22%. Now, probably on a periodic basis, you have mentioned, I think the range for us has changed to 24 to 26. So, wanted to understand that like, in last 2 years or 3 years, like what has changed for us that, we are more comfortable with this range?
Yes, this is on account of the capacity utilization of all the plants. It's not that something magic has happened. Earlier, 2 years back, the plants were running at 70%, 60%. Some plant was at 50%. But from the recent days, it has all the plants started working more than 70, 80%. So that is the main reason we are comfortable that even today also I can tell you again with the current situation, with the current scenario, we are, I can tell you comfortably, the sustainable EBITDA margins will be 24 to 26%. It may be 24.5 and 25 or even 26 also.
Great, nice to know, sir. And sir, there's one more periodic concern which we always face in terms of challenge is on the supply side. So particularly when it is China supply issue or supply chain issue in general, so we have this challenge of the matching ingredient in the agrochem industry, which you have been mentioning that okay, I mean this is something which of course we don't have any control over it because we don't produce those matching ingredients. But from your experience, just wanted to understand that has because of various Make in India initiatives for last couple of years, is that scenario that factor has sensitivity of that factor has reduced for us? I mean, how do you see the industry?
Yeah. For us, we do not have any dependence on the China, any raw material. Only there was one raw material we just recently started. That too, we used to supply some finished product to them. Then we are forced to buy that raw material from them. That was the only reason. Otherwise, we are never depending on the majority of the raw materials from the China. But you are right. Indirectly, it was impacting because of the matching raw materials to my customer end.
Right.
But as you rightly said, under Atmanirbhar Bharat, many people they started looking at opportunities to develop these intermediates, which have given the lessons to the people to start their own manufacturing. Maybe in the coming, not immediately, but coming 1 or 2 years, we will definitely see total change in this dependability. Most of the people they are talking, they don't mind going for a step more. Suppose if you are buying one raw material from China, and which you will process in a step or 2 steps, and you get your end product. If you are developing, you may have to go for 3 to 4 steps, 1 or 2 steps more also. People are not minding doing that, but it's a long-term strategy. So that people are already started working. We have seen some of the people who are working, and definitely you will see. Even in some of our raw materials also, we are expecting that India will develop, which we are buying presently from outside. Suppose that there is a product called BDO 1,410DL. We are hearing somebody is going to produce in the country. So all these things definitely will happen in the coming years. Yeah.
That's quite useful. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks so much.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you. Participants, if you have any questions, please enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Anurag Patil from Roha Asset Managers. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, this new capex of methylamines and DMF, what can be approximate capex numbers?
It's too early, my dear Anurag. What happened just the earlier question you might have heard. Because of the current situation, steel prices, our plants which we planned last year, which we bought last year, if you want to replicate the same thing is exactly double cost today. So it is too early to talk about those things. Maybe things will come to the normal by the time we start this starting this DMA and DMF. So this is better we'll talk next year once we finish this first phase and the second project, the second phase, one product that is acetonitrile. Then only these two things will come.
Okay, sir. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jaiveer Singh Shekhawat from Ambit Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for taking my question. Well, good afternoon, Mr. Reddy. My first question is in relation to your standalone volume growth, which is only about 2% YOY during the quarter. So can you please help me understand which are the key products wherein you might have seen moderation in demand or even decline in demand?
It's very difficult to tell you the exact product. I can tell you because certain reasons that how much we have done, what we have done. If you can write a mail, I can tell you. Overall, yes, there is only 2% growth we have seen because of the reasons I was explaining in the earlier question. But definitely in the coming quarter, we will overcome because one or two products, there was a logistics issues, there was raw materials. Some of the products offtake were not taken place because the matching raw material was not getting. One example I'll tell you. There's a product called metformin, you are aware, which is the anti-diabetic, for which there are the main two ingredients. One is the dimethyl hydrochloride, which we are producing and we are largest in the world for this product. And second key raw material for that product is DCDA, dicyanodiamide, which is people are facing a lot of problems. People used to buy it pre-COVID. They used to buy it to $1,200, $1,300 per ton. Today they are getting it more than $5,000 per ton, and that too availability is not certain. So because they are not getting DCDA, my material is not moving. This is how it has happened in the last quarter. So like that, many products are there which the matching raw material was not getting, and now the things have started improving. Maybe we will see the coming quarters. We should expect should go to the near to the normal.
Sure. So, sir, what would be your guidance for the volume growth for the whole year?
Whole year, as I said, it should be 10 to 12% the whole this thing.
Right. And also on the raw material prices, I mean, you mentioned about in between about the methanol as well. So any sense on where does acetic acid stand currently?
Yeah, acetic acid currently is about 90 rupees. People are talking 90 something plus or minus 1 rupee. And methanol really that was very volatile. The other day it was 40 and then 47, then again 42, like that. But overall, I could see even today also I was covering some 2,000 to 3,000 tons at much better price, that is 39 rupees. It is really the last 4 weeks this is the better price I can say, and I am expecting things have started softening, at least methanol point of view.
Right. And
somebody was talking about the coal also. Coal which should come down, they were talking yesterday in China. So if that happens, then we will see everything is normal.
Mr. Reddy, in relation to the same, is there a possibility that we can do a backward integration or just acquire another producer of these key raw materials? Is there a possibility for that?
Which raw material you're talking?
I mean, all the raw materials wherein you are facing a shortage or where the prices are going up.
Some raw materials people are saying they will come up. We are discussing with 2-3 people. Every month we are coming up with 1 or 2 new people, old people only with the new product, with their expansions. So definitely in coming years, I am telling you, see, these are all very big projects. We cannot say immediately, but definitely you will see in coming 1 or 2 years, a lot of new things will happen in the raw material point of view, which we are depending on the outside country. We should see that domestic producers will come out.
Right. So finally, in terms of your realizations for DMF and ethylamine, can you state where they were for the quarter and where do they stand currently?
See, ethylamine has actually prices have come down because of the demand. The year, what happened? Of course, last entire quarter we worked without remdesivir. There was a huge requirement going for the remdesivir. Those days, when the remdesivir was in peak, the ethylamine price went up to 400, 500 also. So now slowly it has came to normal level, that is 150 to 160 rupees is current rule price of the ethylamines. And what is the other product you were asking?
For the DMF.
DMF, yes. DMF, I don't know. I'm still trying to understand from the outside. In India, there is a growth. We have seen almost 90,000 to 100,000 tons of the requirement is there. And we are very small in that. Even if you run at 100% capacity also, our current capacity is only 30,000 tons.
Right.
But prices have moved very favorably. Today's price is almost to 180 to 200 rupees, which used to be once upon time 60, 70 rupees.
Sure.
If this continues another 1 or 2 months, we should see that something is, we should think that expansion and all those things, we should feel that it is a sustainable price.
Got it. Sure. Thanks a lot, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Senthil Kumar from Joindre Capital Services. Please go ahead.
Hello. So good evening, sir. Is it audible?
Yeah, Senthil, go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. I have 2 questions around financials. First one, on consolidated cash flow statement, debtors has increased from 5 crores to 101 crores. So what is the reason for that, sir? Now, we, the company, have a dominant presence in the industry where the demand for the products is robust. What could be the reason for the increase in debtors, sir? That was the first question.
Okay.
And let me complete the second question also, sir. My second question is the other expenses there, which has increased by 71% on YoY basis in Q2 FY22. Can you please throw some light on these 2, sir?
I think there's because of the fuel prices have gone up. One of the largest concern, if you see the fuel and the logistics costs have gone up.
Oh,
that is the main thing for the
other expenses. Am I right?
Expenses. And trade receivables, I think not much bigger change. You see, if you see the 31/3/21 year ended 27 to 34, and now it is 32 to 333. It will not change. It is only 4,000 to 5,000, right?
No, sir. It was actually increased from 5.8 crores to 101 crores in the first half of FY21, consolidated basis.
Something wrong. We will definitely come back to you. If you can send your mail, I will give you in detail. I don't think some understanding is wrong. It should not like that. We will definitely come back to you, Mr. Senthil. You can just send me a mail. Right?
Okay, sure. I will take it now. Thank you. That's the one.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kishan Gupta from CD Research Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Yeah, Mr. Kishanji, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. What about you?
Fine, thank Tell me.
So basically, we want to understand like what sort of resistance, if any, are you facing from your clients as you go about passing higher raw material prices?
Initially, it's a human mentality. People will say no, no, no. But maybe if it is 3 to 4 weeks, then they are accepting. See, majority of these products going for the life-saving drugs, more than 60-70% is going to life-saving drugs. That is not going to stop, right? So one or the other they have to buy. Initially, we face some problem to saying that they are not in a position to compete. But once the entire world is traveling with the same track, so then they are forced to accept. Everybody should come to the realistic understanding.
And how it has changed, like this resistance, is it the same what it used to be pre-COVID and now, or there is some difference?
There's no much change. Only it's a matter of a week plus or week minus, that's all. Earlier we used to convince them in 3 weeks. Now it might have taken 3.5 to 4 weeks, like that. That's all.
And now with this COVID risk now subsiding, what sort of pricing power do you think you have now with your pharmaceutical clients?
Yes. See, there are, Mr. Gupta, there are few raw materials. I'll tell you one example since you asked this this thing. There was one raw material we used to buy at $900 per ton. Today we are buying it $5,000. But still people are buying the same quantities, not only in India, even outside country also we are getting much better acceptance from the outside country because they are in a position to easy in understanding. Yes, this is right, this material has gone up. So there is no hanky-panky, so we should buy it. This is how it is happening. So like that acceptance is coming up. There is no problem. It's a matter of time, that's all.
And it is across products. You talked about a specific product. So you have sufficient pricing power in most of your products. This is what you mean to say?
Yes, in some of the products because only a handful of manufacturers in the world market.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the more than 20, 30 manufacturers, see one or the other fellow will be having some old inventory or something, or he is not having overheads like others, or he may not be having the same process. That time you will face the problem in the price matching from one manufacturer to other manufacturer in the competitiveness. But when you have only few manufacturers who are going by hand to hand in the market versus their manufacturing versus to the sales and all. So in such situation, definitely it is easy understandable throughout the world. What you are talking about the power. When you have only a few manufacturers, definitely you allow less competition, you allow the power of the price. That's what we have in some of the products.
And how profitable it is now for you people to grow exports when ocean freights are skyrocketing?
Yes, some of the we started giving an FOB basis. We just started separating the price of the product to make them to understand that we are not taking this price. Logistics are eating away the things. So the people have already started understanding, and now they are talking. And sometimes we are talking, this is my price. The freight will be added at the time of shipping on actual basis. This is how we are dealing presently.
So have you been able to move to more of FOB contracts now for exports?
Yes, yes. Most of at least half of the things have turned into FOB. Even if we are talking about the FOB, see, because normally the prices both होता है ना, तो बहुत नजदीक हो जाते हैं customer और supplier. Nowadays people are talking that FOB होने के बावजूद भी sometimes I will say yes, I am getting one opportunity. There is a space in the vessel and he is charging this much. Are you willing to convert into CAF? The people are saying yes. To do it. This is how it is happening. Earlier,
you talked about
contract is contract, you must do it, all those things. But now people have understood that They said that they will not get the material.
And you talked about this 24 to 26% sustainable margins, EBITDA. So is it standalone or consolidated?
It's a consolidated.
Consolidated 24 to 26.
26.
Okay. Okay. Thanks indeed. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Tanvi Bhandari from HEM Securities. Please go ahead. Tanvi Bhandari, your line has been unmuted. Please proceed with your question.
Hello.
Yes.
Just one question. In the methylamine capacity, the capex plan that we had for the phase 2, earlier we had a guidance that it will be commissioned by FY22, which is now being shifted to FY23, whereas you said that you have no change in your capex plans. So how do we understand that?
That I said, if you see my earlier this thing, methylamine was not on the front bench. And even now also I am telling you, Tanvi, we do lot of plans. If something comes, very special product comes, something is developed, then definitely that can come to the front bench and this can go back to the back bench. So this.
We have lost the line for the management. Please hold while we reconnect. We have the management reconnected. So you may proceed, please.
Yes. Are you there? Can you audible?
Yes.
Yeah. See, as I said, that earlier also I said methylamine was not on the priority, because that the methylamine will be done when we take the decision for the DMF. That is more depending on the DMF. So DMF, we are presently trying to make this existing plant in the 100% utilization, that is 30,000 tons. The moment we finish, then probably we will plan up both DMF and methylamines. As I said, we have not only this, we have many products in the pipeline which we are not disclosing because of the commercial point of view, secret point of view. If something comes very attractive, so definitely it can change the priority also.
Okay. And just one question more. So you said that ideally you will be seeing a volume ramp up of say approx 10 to 11% on a standalone basis for the full year. So how do you see in terms of the revenue? So we don't see much growth if we only expect a volume growth of only 10 to 11% for the full year going forward.
I already given you. We expect this financial year on the conservative basis. Consolidated, we should end up at 1800 crores total revenue. 18 to 1850 we can end up, which I was given earlier also, and we are on the right track. We will be doing definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohit Nagaraj. I would request all the participants restrict their questions to one per participant. Rohit Nagaraj from MK Global, please proceed with your question.
Yeah, thanks for the follow-up. So you mentioned that monoethanolamine was in short supply. So is there any domestic producer or is it completely imported?
Actually, even we can produce that. I can tell you the history of this product. It's very simple reaction. Ammonia and ethylene oxide. In our country, the problem is ethylene oxide. We are depending totally on one big brother, that is Reliance. So because it is not reliable, we are depending on the outside country. Earlier people, one or two people used to produce this monoethanolamine. It's very low margin and a simple reaction product. Only the raw materials are very important for this product, ethylene oxide and ammonia. Ammonia is available, ethylene oxide reliability is not there because the capacity is limited with the Reliance. In fact, everybody is waiting for somebody should come out with this product. So there's a reason we are buying, and you cannot import the EVO, ethylene oxide. being a dangerous goods. So that's the reason we are depending on the 4 or 5 countries. There are 5, 6 countries. Huge capacities are available for this. It's like a commodity product, like methanol. So there's a company called Sabic is there. There's a Dow Sadara is there. Petronas is there. GC Glycol is there. So all these companies are there. Even Ineos is there, BSA. So 5, 6 countries are there. Only thing is presently in world market there is a shortage of ethylene oxide is number 1. Number 2, logistics also is restricting them to free movement.
Right, so got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shanti Patel from Shanti Patel Investment. Please go ahead.
Sir, are you getting my voice? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, the simple question, any of our product is has got an anti-dumping duty from the government of India?
Yes, presently there is one product which is enjoying the dimethyl acetamide is there, which is having the anti-dumping. And second product is choline fluoride. I think recently they put up. You see, it's not we, but Jubilant has applied, and the government has given the anti-dumping for that product also. These are the 2 products.
But how long it will continue? I mean, up to what is the deadline given by the government while putting up?
Normally, government will give for the 5 years. Any product, when you apply, you will get the anti-dumping for 5 years. But in between, somebody comes with a petition request asking the review situation, improved, please remove, like that. There is a possibility that fight again and remove premature also, even before 5 years also.
Okay. And the products which are under the anti-dumping dumping duty.
Mr. Patel, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you please join the queue?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Hardik from Brick Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Hardik, go ahead.
Yeah, just one question. Why is the other expense so high this quarter compared to last year and last quarter also?
Yes, I said because of the fuel cost is one of the major reason. Huge cost has gone.
And will we be able to pass this in the coming quarters?
Yes, it's already started. We started passing on. Otherwise, you can't see. There are many increases. Raw materials, fuel cost, even power, everything is increased. But still, we have maintained to some extent the margins and all. That means we have already started passing on these expenses to the customers. We will see in the coming months passing on the 100% increase to the customers.
Okay. Thank you and all the best, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nikhil from Galaxy International. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one question. So, how is the competitive intensity from China right now? So, given that earlier we were importing a lot of product from China, so how is the situation now, and what is your outlook on, let's say, the situation 1 to 2 years down the line? Will it increase, decrease, or remain the same? Thank you.
See, we are not facing any problem presently. That there were only 2-3 products we used to face the problem. One, the DMF we used to face. Rather, they don't have the material presently. Some of the big plants they have closed. I don't know what was the reason. Second thing, ethylamine used to come. That they totally stopped coming into the country. And third, there was one product, EDA used to come. That is, we started exporting to China now. That product. There are 2-3 products. In fact, we are exporting to China. There is one product called Morpholin. We used to ask for the anti-dumping against China. Now we started exporting this product. So this, as you rightly asked, we don't know how many days it will go like this. If situation goes like this, we can say that these products may not come at least in 1 year to the country. If it is on the account of capacities, because they may not be having excess capacity to dump in India, or they may not be having those dynamics of the costing competitiveness with the India. So that could be reason. So if this is the situation, definitely we will have the next 1 year we will not see these products coming into India.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That was the last question that we could take in this session. Then I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to wish you all in advance very happy Diwali and a prosperous new year. Thank you for taking out time and participating in our conference call. The overall outlook for Indian pharmaceutical companies and agrochemicals is expected to continue to improve on account of impetus being given to China +1 policy by companies in Western economy. Pharma and agrochemicals constitute substantial majority of our end user clients for aliphatic amines as well as the specialty chemicals that we manufacture. Given this strong correlation between the demand for our products and that of demand for the products from our end user industries, we foresee a robust growth potential for our company in years ahead. At the same time, we are also continuously striving to increase as well as diversify our product portfolio to address more segments of our end user markets. And I thank you once again for all the investors, stakeholders who showing the confidence on our company. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of Edelweiss Wealth Research, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect.